What's going on, everybody? Yeah, we're just letting people come in. Got some good stuff set up today. We're going to be going over the Falcons and Seahawks. Yeah, I see that you're in here. That's fine. All right, so we'll start up. First play we're gonna watch is it's gonna be we're watching the Falcons and Seahawks here. Just attacking the flat defender. That's the theme of today. In this particular play, we got a toss going to the boundary. A little bit of a Y in motion. So you get the motion from the tight end. He's detached coming in. And now we're trying to locate the flat defender during all this stuff today. So in this particular play, we got the flat defender is this guy here because it's a cover 3, cover 1 mix. That's what the Seahawks play, 95% 4% of the time. They're in either a cover 1 or cover 3 hybrid. One half of the field might be cover 1, which means it's man up top here, and the other half might be in zone, which is down here, depending on the rules and the alignment of the offense. So we have the tight end motioning in. Usually it's the second guy from the sidelines that's the flat defender in cover 3. So in this particular play, it's likely this guy right here. I think his name is I don't think it's Coleman. I think Coleman's a nickel. But number 30, what his number is. He rolls down, yeah. So he's the flat defender. He rolls down hard right here, this guy. So what you want to do is you want to keep your eyes on that flat defender on an outside toss. So that way you can really adjust your path as a ball carrier. Whether it's a screen, like a bubble, whether it's a X, tunnel, whether it's a toss, whether it's outside zone, even on an off tackle like power, stuff like that. You really want to keep your eyes on that flat defender because that's the guy that's going to tell you whether or not you're forcing the ball back in or you're taking the ball to the numbers. So if you want to make a big play, that's who you have to read, essentially, is that guy. So in this particular play, he widens, and it looks like they're leaving the fullback here to kick him out. Yep. So here, see his eyes are on this guy right here, and the running back cuts it inside of that, and then finds some good spacing. So we're going to see the other angle here, better angle here. All right, so we're going to get the Y motion in. You see he detaches, and then you got your toss going wide. So really the thing to keep an eye on is watching who Coleman, the running back, number 26, watches here. This is his read, this guy right here, the flat guy. All right, so you see how the guy comes and resets the flat defender, or the guy that's responsible for forcing the ball back into the middle. He widens instead of squeezes. And when you can see that as a ball carrier, you know that you're going to be going inside of him. So see how far upfield and wide he comes? Instead of squeezing down, he really comes real wide. What he should have done is come up right here, but that's on you to read. If he widens out here, then you're going to cut inside. If he squeezes down, then you're going to bounce it out. All right, so you read that. Coleman here gets his eyes on the target. He sees the lane and he cuts it. Very simple, very easy. It's easy to get big plays in football if you know what to look at. Okay? So you see it, he widens, cuts it up, slices it in, makes a good gain here. We'll see it one more time, full speed. He motions in, here comes that flat defender, he rolls down, second guy from the boundary, tries to squeeze it, tries to come upfield, tries to make the play cut back in, and there's just too much space. Easy reads, easy reads. Very simple. Third and 5. All right, so now we're going to watch a pass play to the flat. Again, the whole theme of today is attacking the flat. So what we're doing is we're going to keep our eyes on this guy right here, Hardy, the number 2. Again, we got our flat situation here. This guy's the flat defender. It looks like they might have, again, I was talking before how the Seahawks mix up that cover 1, cover 3 mix. So this looks like it might be 1, and I think it is. It's kind of hard to tell because you got your number 3 right here who's looking in at the quarterback, and he's sort of walling off the outside. So it's a little tricky to tell, but it's clearly cover 1. Up here to the field near the sidelines. So all they do is they're going to find that number 2, they're going to locate that number 2, and they're going to work against them. And again, as a receiver, that's exactly what you're looking at. You're looking at that number 2 guy, and you're trying to break something off of him. And Matt Ryan knows that he's getting sort of a outside leverage by this linebacker here. So he sees that I got an inside here, and then I got an outside here. So you're going to go right to that number 2. And again, if you're the receiver working against the flat, that's the theme of today, working against that flat defender or that number 2 defender. You're gonna press him. You see how they widen here? See, watch how he widens out. He starts about 3 yards inside the top of the numbers, and then he works to the top of the numbers, like he's running a fade or an outside release vertical. And then he stops it, and then a little break off, a little push off. I mean, and the ball's thrown very well low where the defender can't get it. And again, your job as a receiver is to create that positioning so that way you can make the catch. See how he makes the catch right there? He gets a little bit of a push, but the most important thing is he sets his feet down. The ball is thrown low. He already knows he's in a position to make a low catch. He goes down to get it. Makes the grab. Resets the sticks. First down. Good job by Hardy. Great ball by Matt Ryan here. Because again, he's looking at the number 2. We're attacking the number 2 today. Outside, from the outside in. Boom. Well positioned throw. Alright, so we got a 1st and 10 here. Again, on 1st and 10, you have room to be conservative, or you have room to be aggressive, especially when the ball's on the 38-yard line. It's the first quarter. You're still sort of punching things out. If you're a receiver here, again, you're a slot receiver or you're a playmaking receiver. These are the kind of routes that you want to run, so that way you can get the most success and the most space with the ball. So you're going to see right here, the quarterback's under center, so you can get a quick throw. See the number 2 right here lined up on top of the numbers. This guy here, the number 2, really breaks off the inside leverage. Again, we're reading the number 2 defender, outside in, flat guy. That's the whole theme of today. Who's the flat defender? Where's the number 2 guy? That's who we're attacking. Okay. Even if you're the receiver, look at the number 1 up here. I believe this is it's either Sanu or Julio Jones. He's even looking in at the number 2 and seeing what the number 2 adjusts to. So see how he releases out. He's going to take the number 1 or the cornerback wide, and look at this spacing here. Right here, you see how Hardy is really wide open because again they've been attacking a little bit vertically in their previous games. So Seattle's more in a back pedal. And again, they get the defender in a position where they're spacing, and then now it's 2-on-1 out by the sidelines. So Matt Ryan makes the throw, gives them enough space to run with the ball. Easy enough, right? Give me 1 second real quick. Everybody get their cereal this morning or what? What are you guys eating? Yeah, I see that, Benjamin. I just sent it to you. Easy enough, right? Should be good now. I'm going to pull it back a couple plays here for some of the guys that were... There you go. Should be good now. Let me know in the chat if you can see it. Should be all set. All right. So what we're doing is again, the theme of today is we're learning how to create big plays by reading the flat defender or the number 2 defender from the sidelines. So when I say flat defender, so it's the guy on defense that's responsible for the short, shallow passes or zones from the basically from the hashes to the sideline in about a 10-yard window. So they're responsible for, like in cover 2, for instance, cover 2 zone, the flat defender is the cornerback. In cover 3 zone, the flat defender is that safety that's rolled down, like Cam Chancellor type players. That's their primarily their flat defender that rolls down. So the flat defender is the guy that's number 2, essentially in cover 3 defense. That's number 2 from the sidelines. So how to identify cover 3 and cover 2? So when you have single high safety in between the hashes like this, and plus it's the Seattle Seahawks, they're typically a cover 3, cover 1 hybrid mixed defense, meaning that this guy right here in the middle of the field, that's your read right there. What the heck? I don't know why it's not letting him on. So that's your guy right there that you want to try to read as far as identifying the coverage pre-snap as a route runner as well, because all good route runners, all good running backs, they all know, you know, what's the coverage, who's the flat defender, and how do I attack that flat defender on particular plays. So in this particular play, we have our number 2 receiver from the sidelines right here, Hardy. We have a again, it's a cover 3, cover 1 mix, which means it's man zone mix across the field. Looks like on the outside we have man to man, and then you have a little bit of a mixed zone out here because this linebacker right here is outside leverage and looking in at the quarterback. So they could very well be bracketing, which means like double teaming this guy, and then playing man over here. But either way, over here it looks like you might have a zone as well, with the number 1 being man to man. So what we're watching is this number 2 receiver right here. Again, this is NFL style film analysis, right? This is how the NFL guys sit down and break down film and watch film and learn. So this guy right here, you're stemming from the inside slot as the number 2 receiver. Now this could be a running back as well, that's flexed out. I mean, a lot of colleges, a lot of NFL guys, they're asking you to be like Dion Lewis and James White and Darren Sproles, and they want you to flex out and play multiple positions. So it's particularly important that you learn how to read routes, read coverages, and attack the flat, or the number 2 in this particular situation. So the number 2 is this guy right here, right along the numbers. I'll let it run for you so you can see. Watch him stem it. Let's run it back again. Just watch how he starts from the inside, then he works. He's about 3 yards outside of the numbers, inside of the numbers rather. See here are the numbers right here. He's about 3 yards inside the top of the numbers, and he works to the top of the numbers. So he actually runs like an outside release and then a stop. Hold on one second. So again, even Matt Ryan here is reading the number 2. Then he gets the ball thrown low. See, that's how you want to attack certain defenders, is you want to make sure that you are changing his leverage. So in this particular, when I say leverage, I mean, so where is the defender lined up? Is he outside leverage or is he inside leverage? Outside leverage means that you're more likely to get an inside breaking pattern. But when you have a bracket like this right here, with the linebacker sort of shaded outside the number 3, then you have to really sort of extend that guy and push his leverage out more and then break him in. And that's exactly what Hardy did here as a receiver. You see, he widened him, changed the leverage just a little bit, and then brought it back to the quarterback and to make the catch. You'll see what I mean here about changing the leverage. So you're the number 2 again. Right here, you're going to see how wide he is. I mean, see how tight he is to the hashes? And then push, and then stop. Good. Watch that number 2 guy. Watch how he pushes to the top, because again, he's trying to change the leverage of the defender here. He's trying to push that leverage of the number 2 defender. Right here in this particular situation, it's the safety that's sort of floating over the top. He starts about 3 yards on top of the numbers, and he really pushes his release. Watch where he ends up on this little stop route, little hitch. He ends up pushing the defender towards the sideline more, which creates space for the throw right inside here. Great catch. Great throw. Great execution. You'll see it from here again. This angle isn't as valuable on outside passes, but it's still a pretty valuable angle for the simple fact that you can see where the quarterback is reading. He said, I know I got that number 2 locked up, so I'm going to try to beat him with this leverage throw. Boom, zips it. Nice and low, only where the receiver can catch it, and he makes the play. Good pickup. All right, so now we got first down and 10 on the 38. Again, 3:51 into the first quarter, which means that if you're on offense here, if you're playing for the Seattle Seahawks, right, you're now thinking to yourself, okay, so we got some room to be a little bit aggressive. We're on the 38-yard line, 4-down territory. So on first down, we can kind of make some moves with the ball here. In this particular situation, they're under center. Again, hypothetical situation. You're flexed out as the number 2, whether you're tight end, whether you're running back, whether you're receiver. You're that number 2 working against inside leverage from the safety. All right, so remember what I meant by inside-outside leverage. When you're in the NFL or when you're in college, leverage is everything on defense. So if you're on offense and you're looking at the defense and the guy lined up on top of you is inside of you, then they're taking away that inside. They're more likely to stop an inside pattern than outside. That's what they're trying to do. So again, trying to get an outside throw is going to be easy depending on how you run your route. So in this particular play, you can see the number 2 here stems it vertically slightly, and then he's going to break it and snap it off to the sideline. And then that creates a lot of space because, look, he's already on the bottom of the numbers, and this DB is in a reverse back pedal. So watch this throw, quick and easy, catches the ball, and then he's allowed to run after the catch. In the NFL, that's all you get typically. I mean, you're not going to get a lot of space. But I tell you what, if you could run this pattern like this and catch the ball for 7 yards on first down, you're going to be in the NFL for a long, long time. So watch again how he vertically stems it, and then he snaps it off really quickly. He knows that the timing here is you want to turn your weight by the time that quarterback hits his third step. So right here, quarterback hits his third step, you're turning your weight, and then the ball's released. Catch, turn it upfield. Very easy. We'll see it here again. Defense is a little bit miscombobulated. They're all out of place. But again, you see this spacing here in a lot of college situations, Division I in particular, high-end Power 5 conference teams. This is all the spacing you're going to get. You should be grateful that they've given you 2.5 yards because the windows close very quickly, whether it's man or zone. That throwing window is very tight. So if you're given the ball with maybe 2 yards, you have to do your best that you can do to get as many yards as you can. So in this particular situation, it doesn't look like he gets a lot of yards after catch here, but in fact he does, because watch him turn it upfield, and that's a lot of yards in the NFL. To go from in 1st and 10 to get 6 yards on 1st and 10, any NFL coach is going to love that because they want you to maximize your opportunities every time you touch the ball. And that's maximizing your opportunities. Setting your team up for 2nd and 4 is exactly how you stay in the NFL for 10 to 15 years. So now we got 2nd down and 4. I'm not sure what happens here. We got a little trade. Let's just, for fun, let's see what we got here. Looks like it's going to be an outside zone. Yeah, it's going to be an outside zone to this side, to the boundary, to the right, offensive right. So what you want to do is, again, we're keeping our eyes on who's the number 2 widest to the sideline. Number 2 widest to the sideline in this particular play is this guy right here. Looks like he's a rolled down linebacker or a standing defensive end. Let me take a look again. So yeah, we got a rolled down linebacker over here. This is their sort of, I don't want to say under, this is like their under front. And so we got our defensive end out here. The ball, we know as an offense, where's the ball going? We know the play, right? I mean, we know that it's going to be outside zone to the boundary. I think. I mean, I didn't watch it fully here. Yeah, it's going to be outside zone to the boundary. So again, you got to know, okay, I'm going wide outside. I know I got single high, right? Which means it's either cover 3 or cover 1. And now I know the ball's going outside, so I need to find my number 2 from the sideline, which is this guy right here, and I need to press that guy in order to maximize my opportunity here. So they press this guy right here. You can see Coleman's eyes are right on this block right here by the tight end. They engage, and now you're going to cut inside of that and just, again, fight. I mean, he sort of dropped his weight a little early there, but again, you know the ball's going right. You know your number 2 is this guy right out here. I'm sure you can see my little cursor. You're reading that guy. That's all you're doing here on outside zone. Read that, because this guy out here is called is going to be in a 2-gap technique, which means he's playing inside out. He's got inside responsibility and outside responsibility that he has to cover. So you want to put a lot of stress on that player because he has a lot of responsibility. So you're trying to put a lot of stress on him as the ball carrier. Again, if you're running a bubble screen, if you're running a tunnel screen, if you're running an outside zone, if you're running toss, if you're running power, you want to locate that force defender early and figure out what he's doing. Because if this force defender here comes to the inside, right, this guy right here, say he rips in and he comes to the inside, where are you going to bring the ball? You're going to bring that ball outside. But in this particular play, this guy slides outside leverage. Coleman sees this little gap right here. Again, in the NFL, that's all you get. This is it right here. So you're trying to wedge yourself in between this guy's butt right here, this right tackle's butt, and this guy's arm right here. So you're trying to wedge yourself in there and try to pick up that first down. Again, he dropped his weight a little too early. I would have liked to seen him drop his weight a little bit later so that way he can wedge himself through there. You see right here he drops his weight. He probably could have stayed a little bit higher and then fought through that guy's inside shoulder. You'll see what I mean. So see how he drops his weight right here? If he stayed vertically a little bit longer, this guy right here, this right guard, got a good block. He could have cut in through that guy's shoulder and made probably an extra yard or two. And if you got that extra yard or two, which brings us to 3rd and 1, that was 2nd down and 4. If you got that extra yard or two, it would have brought up a 1st down. But now it's 3rd and 1, which again is a comfortable situation for any offense. All right, so we got, it looks like we got Matt Ryan flexed out here at receiver, and you got Mohamed Sanu or is that Julio Jones or Mohamed Sanu playing quarterback. See, I'm quick at picking things up here because I'm used to seeing where guys are supposed to be, how guys align, how certain. So when they came out of the huddle, I'm looking at, okay, where are my 7 guys on the line of scrimmage? And I see number 2 right here. This big goofy white guy, right? And I'm like, well, wait a minute. I think that's the quarterback. So we got Sanu at the Wildcat, so he's probably going to be running the ball, trying to dive or trying to get an easy 1st down. Yep. And they just attack the line of scrimmage, make a play. We're not really paying too much attention to this because it's not a number 2 guy that you're reading, but all right. So now we're on 1st down and 10. We got 21 personnel, which means 2 running backs and 1 tight end. So that's the other thing you guys should sort of start to learn as you're getting into the NFL level or playbook or even high-end Division I or even some Division III schools. They use personnel groupings according to numbers. So when I say 21 personnel, the first number in 21 represents the running backs. Okay? Then the next number represents the amount of tight ends. So 21 means 2 running backs, 1, 2, and 1 tight end, 1. All right, so 21 personnel. So if it was 11 personnel, it would be 1 running back and 1 tight end, which means there are 3 receivers. So in 21 personnel, we have 2 running backs, 2, 1 tight end, 1, and then 2 receivers, because that makes up 5 eligible. I know it sounds a little bit confusing, but you're trying to find 5 eligible guys because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 offensive linemen, 1 quarterback, that's 6. 5 linemen, 1 quarterback, 6. Okay, so now there's 11 guys on offense. So you have your 6. We know 5 offensive linemen and the quarterback. So who are your other 5 guys? We could have 5 wide receivers. We could have 2 running backs. We could have 2 tight ends. We could have 1 running back. Again, we're trying to find that combination. It's just a simple little thing I'm trying to teach you guys. If you didn't already know it, I'm trying to teach you it now. So 21 personnel is 2 running backs, 1 tight end. And Matt Ryan just throws the ball up to his guy and drops it. Looks like there might have been a pass interference there. All right, so now we got 1st down and goal. We got a big, again, we'll go back into the numbering system. So in this particular play, we got sort of like a, I'd say it's a, it's kind of tricky to tell because you got a tackle playing tight end, you got a defensive lineman playing fullback. So they just call this jumbo more than likely. So what we got is a, so I'm guessing that they're bringing the ball to the left here because of the fact that they've got numbers to the outside. So let's see what happens here. Yep, so we got off tackle going left. Again, who are we reading? We're taught to read today on outside runs. We're reading the number 2. The number 2 in this particular play is actually this guy right here because we're going to bring it back. Number 2 means widest guy from the sideline. So the widest guy, like a cornerback, is number 1. Then who's the next guy in? That's the number 2. That's who you're reading on outside plays. Plays that are designed to go outside the guard. Again, whether you're receiving the ball as a receiver, whether you're running the ball as a running back, whether you're running the ball as a quarterback, you're reading the number 2. So in this particular play, this guy is the second widest guy right here. So we got number 1, number 2. So we're reading that number 2. And we're seeing where he goes because that's where we're attacking. Now, the other note that I want to tell you guys too is that do not overlook, do not over-examine where you're running the ball, because as like playing as like an undersized safety, or I mean undersized linebacker or like a larger safety, when I was a player, I was always taught to look at where's the quarterback looking pre-snap and where's the running back looking pre-snap. Because if I'm the running back and I'm like this for like 10 seconds, I mean, you're telegraphing where the ball's going, right? So you want to kind of quickly scan the field. Okay, what do we got here? Look to the right, look to the left. Equal opportunity, right? You're looking left, you're looking right. You're seeing where the number 2 is on either side. And if that number 2, in this particular situation, it's this guy right here, green gloves, green cleats. He's the guy you're reading because you know the ball's going left, okay? So read him, see what he does. See that he sort of stays inside the gap. Cut it. I mean, this is a great play, actually, in the backfield. I missed this. By the outside linebacker. But again, he went inside of this guy right here. If this number 2 stayed inside, so say this number 2 went right here. You tell me where the running back's going to go now. He's going to push it more towards the sideline, probably run right along this hash. But because look at his first step, that number 2's first step was to the sideline. So your read in response to that is to go inside. See how he widens? His response is to go inside. And he went right inside of this guy right here, this number 2. He went inside the number 2 because the number 2 went outside. That's exactly what you want to read. You want to score touchdowns in the NFL against these type of defenses. Say you're playing against the Georgia Bulldogs. They play incredible. Kirby Smart, I think, is the Kirby Smart is the defensive coordinator at Georgia. He was at Alabama. This dude knows red zone defense. So if you're playing against the Georgia Bulldogs, right? Say they didn't recruit you and you're pissed about that. You want to score a touchdown against the Georgia Bulldogs? Your ass better be reading that number 2 to the wide side, because if the ball's going there, of course, because that's the guy that you want to read, because that's the only guy that's going to give you space in this particular situation, right? So see how that guy widens? Your sight adjustment now is to go back inside here. See how he widens again? Now, again, this number 52 forced you back in, but again, you're working in the confines of this lane still, right here, the hashes to the middle of the field. So if you're working between the hashes to the middle of the field here, you're still looking for that space to try to score a touchdown. You find that space, you drive your feet, you score the touchdown. Very simple, very easy. We'll watch it from this angle here. Again, who's our number 2, guys? Our number 2, number 1 is right here. Number 2 is right here. We know the ball is going left. Don't overthink it. Don't overlook it. Don't be like, oh, okay, where's my number 2? Don't just kind of glance over. You see, okay, everybody can count. 1, 2, all right? Then you're looking to your right. You're coming back to your left. Is it still 1, 2? Yep, it's still 1, 2. So you're reading number 59 right here, okay? And number 59 is your tell. See now, the ball is designed to go outside. He sees the ball go in. This guy makes him adjust to this inside lane right here. Again, where's my number 59 or the number 2? He's right here. He went wide, so you go right here in this gap. It's very simple, very easy. Number 59 went outside, you go inside. If number 59 went inside, you get around this and go outside. Not a very tough concept. We'll look at it again. Again, we're looking left, we're looking right. Where's my number 2? Right here, here's my number 2. Does number 59 go wide? Yes, he does. So I'm going to cut it back in. And again, this guy right here forced you to really come back in with the ball, which is fine because you can still work from the inside of the hash to the middle part of the field. Again, you just got to locate where number 59 is. So if number 59, let's say for instance, number 59 came in right here. You're number 2. Widest guy is number 1. Inside guy is number 2. Say this guy went inside this gap. Where are you going to bring the ball now? Sidelines. Or towards the sidelines, I should say. But again, they made a great play. He filled in the gap, scored a touchdown. All right, we're going to move on to another drive. Okay. So we got first down. Looks like there might have been a turnover because the ball's on the 30 plus 35. Typically on first down and 10 on the start of a new drive, if you got the ball in their 35-yard line, that means that there was some sort of a turnover, or they went for it on fourth down and turnover on downs. So it's, again, gambling time, right? So what we're looking for, again, we got single high safety, which means it's either 1 or 3. If it's 1 or 3, is it man or is it zone? In this particular situation, it looks like we got, actually it looks like it's going to be, looks like it's going to be zone. It's going to be zone. To this side, to the top side of the field, it's zone, or to the boundary side, it's zone. To the field side, or the wide side, we got man-to-man. All right? So that's something that teams do. Nick Saban was really one of the guys that started that whole thing. He called it a rip-liz match. Rip-liz match means depending on what the receiver does or our alignment or where the spacing is, we're going to play man or we're going to play zone to one side of the field compared to the other. So in this particular play, we got man to the field side and then we got zone to the short side. Again, who are we reading today? We're reading that number 2. So that number 2 is right here, okay? So that number 2 guy is the guy you're reading. That number 2, if you're, say you're Julio Jones right here, right? He's looking inside right now. Okay, where is this poor guy? This poor corner. Where's this guy's help? This guy's help is way inside the box here, so you know it's one-on-one coverage. So you know you got some room to work back underneath. So what's going to happen is they got a little motion. All right, so we got zone. You got this corner backing off, looking into the formation. You got Julio Jones saying, oh, this child is in trouble. So he's going to vertically stem. They got a little play action to help these guys bite up a little bit. Again, who are we reading? We're reading the number 2 from the sideline. Number 2 from the sideline is this guy right here, okay? Say you're Julio Jones. You're going to snap that off. Look at this space. In the NFL, you don't get space like this. You do not get space like this. The only way you get space like this is by running the right route combinations and by breaking people off properly. Okay? Look how we broke this guy off properly. As a receiver, as a flexed out running back, as a tight end that's outside the numbers. Again, you see a lot of the Patriots, they run their guys. You got Rob Gronkowski going to the sidelines. He's the number 1 widest guy. That's what you got right here. This guy breaks, Julio Jones breaks off his number 1. There is a ton of space right here. Again, guys, what did we say? These guys in the NFL, they get back quick. That window's there and then it's gone, right? Look at how close this throw is here. I mean, look at that. He catches the ball, God-given talent, but watch how quick that window, even with reading the number 2, even with breaking the number 1 guy off with a proper route, even with all those things, these guys, this is the best of the best. This is why we're watching this today, is because when you go to even Division I college football, or when you come back to your high school, you're going to make people look like clowns if you can find this space in your situation. Because this is the Seattle Seahawks, the best defense in the past 5 years, right? These guys know how to play defense. Even with that, there's a window there that they can find. Because you do things right. Right here, boom, he breaks them off. Again, look at when the ball's released, the space that's right here. You think that's an automatic, easy completion, but He catches the ball. They close the window. He still makes the catch. Sort of a bad throw by Matt Ryan here. Got to give him a little bit of a hard time. I'm sure he did in the film room. Step into the throw. That's near hash throw. Easy catch. So what do we got for personnel here? Let's go back to that real quick, guys. So we got how many running backs? I'm going to let you guys answer these questions to yourself. How many running backs? We got, I'm going to help you out. 1, number 26, 2, 40. How many tight ends we got on the field? We've got our 5 linemen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got our 5 linemen. Now we got number 80. What's he? Probably a tight end. I don't know I don't know the Atlanta Falcons personnel. I had to scout them last year. So I do know them, somewhat familiar with their numbering and who does what for them as far as skill. Number 80 is primarily an inline tight end, which means he's mostly attached to the tackle in most formations, playing the tight end position. So he's a tight end guy for them. Number 40 is their fullback. Number 26, Coleman, is their running back. So we got how many running backs? How many tight ends? What's our personnel? 21. 21 personnel. Good little play action fake. Watch the number 2 here. So who's our number 2, guys? Right here, number 30. This is the guy we're reading as our receiver or the running back. You're reading this guy right here. See how he steps up real hard? Number 2, that opens up that window behind him. He still gets out there. I mean, give him credit. He got out there, but Julio Jones just made, a Julio Jones play, you know. And that's when your training comes in, like what you guys are doing on the field, what you guys are doing in the weight room. I mean, that's just, I can't help you with that right now. All right, so we got our outside zone again. Ooh, there we go. So we're going, you notice too, they're starting to build a trend on when they're in open field, they're running to the boundary to the right. And then when they get in the red zone, they're running to the field to the left. All right, so how many safeties high? 1. All right, so which means we're either in 3 or cover 1, which means we're reading the second guy in, because that's going to be your flat defender. Who's the second guy in? Right here, this guy. I'm circling him. Right? So as a receiver, you may be crack blocking here, again, because there's no point of blocking this corner if you can block this guy first and then let the running back work on corner one-on-one. Every team does it differently. Seattle isn't a really big crack block team. Their receivers are sort of, they like to run routes better than they like to block, so they usually stock block. Yep, so it's just a typical release. So again, your eyes are on the number 2 here. That's this block right here, because the ball is going outside to the right. You know the ball is going outside to your right. You know that you're going to be stretching it out and figuring out where that number 2 is. Press that number 2 or press that flat defender, more importantly. Who's that flat defender? In this particular situation, it's him, because they're in cover 1 or cover 3. And that flat defender is the guy that you want to really press. And you see how that guy went wide? So you cut the ball inside of that. And again, good chunky yards right there. It's the NFL. Getting 4 or 5 yards, you're going to have a very, very long career making 4 or 5 yards. So our number 2 guy is, number 1 is the wide guy. Number 2 is this guy right here. We're reading that number 2. If that number 2 goes outside, you go inside. If that number 2 goes inside, you go outside. In this particular situation, he's shaded to the sideline, which means where are you bringing the ball? Read him. You see how he stays wide? Now you got this little crease right here. You got all these blue jerseys being pushed to the sideline, so you cut it back in. This is called a single cut. Denver Broncos ran it in the 90s. And you got this little wedge right here. And that's exactly what he's looking at. And then he fights, you know. And a lot of guys will say, well, why didn't he try to cut back inside 50? Just get the yards. You know what I mean? This guy's probably going to be athletic enough See, he seals off the inside. You're not making yards after that. You take what you can get, which is 4 or 5 yards. Coach is happy. They sign you to a two-year, $2 million, $3 million contract. You're good. You know what I mean? Read the number 2 if it's single high. Read the number 2 if it's single high. So we got single high here. So if the ball's going right, who are we reading? I'll let you guys just figure it out. Ball's going left. Where are you going? You're reading either this guy or this guy right here. Ball went left. Read that number 2. So right here, this is in coverage. Your coverage guy. This is your number 2 right here. Watch the ball come to the field side. It's a little toss. See how he widens real wide? You're going to cut that ball inside of him and carry it through. Very simple, very easy. All right, last play. So you see here, it's so say you're the X receiver on this particular play. You're lined up out here. Where's the number 2? Number 2 is in here. So you know you got one-on-one coverage with outside leverage by that defensive back. So you're going to try to just give him a quick little double move at the line of scrimmage. If you're a receiver, if you're a tight end, if you're a running back flexed out, you give him a little double move and then break it off to the sideline, a little speed cut, easy gain. Watch it one more time. See the leverage is to the outside. You're going to give him an inside move, get him to flatten or get him to square up. See right there? Outside leverage means the cornerback is lined up to the outside. So you know your route is to stem to the sidelines. So what are you going to do to get that guy in a position so you can break it off out? You got to give him a double move at the line, readjust his leverage. Readjusting his leverage means try to shift his leverage from your outside to your inside. And when you're able to do that, you can break him off to the sideline, and then all of a sudden you got space, and boom, easy catch. Hardy is really tearing up their defense here. Boom. Snap it. Easy. Alright, guys. It was a good first stream, I'd say. We had a good amount of visitors popping in and out. If you have any questions, feel free to message me. This is what I do for fun. I love it. This is what I do for a living as well. I like helping guys out. I love answering questions. I love being able to interact with a lot of players from a lot of different places. That's why I was asked to start this live stream sort of situation, so I can engage with a lot of different people on a lot of different levels, and then you know, kind of build that sort of network of that group of players that can work together and figure things out together. And the whole objective is to create a more safer sport. And how do we create a safer sport? It's by awareness and knowledge. So if you're expecting on where guys are going to be, for instance, today we learned about how to read that flat defender, right? So if your eyes are on that guy that's forcing the ball in, you know he's not going to come in and smack you because you're aware, you're cognizant of, okay, that number 2 widens. Where's my linebacker from the inside? Where's my safety that rolls down or whatever? So that way you expect things coming. You're not going to get blindsided. You're going to be more aware. It's sort of like riding your bicycle at nighttime, right? Where if you don't have any lights on it, those cars are flying around. You're gonna get hit. So you got to turn those lights on, and the way you turn those lights on is by learning where guys are going to be, learning coverages, so that way when you're running a route across the middle, you know where the safeties are, you know where the linebackers are, you know where guys are setting up, you know how to avoid collisions. That's the whole objective to this. Create a safer sport, create smarter athletes, and have fun doing it. So, good job today, guys. We had fun. I look forward to the next one. I think Sunday night at 6 p.m. is when we're going to be going again. So if you guys can make it, that'd be great. Until then, good job.